Hello, I'm Maria from the Richardson's Homeschool Live. I'm filming this on a Monday, although you'll see it tomorrow, Tuesday. It's back to school now because, as you know, Sian has the holidays. I'm always saying about that. So today is back to school. It took some getting into. We try and keep a routine, you see. Even though, like, we're homeschool, we don't have to do all the 9 till 4 or whatever it is these days. We don't keep to those times. We do keep to the school term times, and I try and get in a routine. I try and have her ready. I mean, it used to be 9 o'clock, then it went to 9:30, and now it's more like 10 o'clock. So it's very loose, our timetable, but I try and keep it to those times. So she's done some schooling this morning, and like I say, took some really getting into it. It's like, oh no. Well, we used to feel like that for going to school. We shouldn't be feeling like that for homeschool, but I don't know. I think it's just the routine. We don't like routines, just like to go with the flow. Maybe you should do that more, but anyway, we do try and keep routines because people go to work and things like that. So yeah, this morning Sian has done some maths. Now, she's finished one blue maths book and she is 1 page away from finishing another one. So what I've been doing with the one that she's finished, we've been doing some times tables because we haven't gone through them this school year. So I thought we better do some, because I like to keep her on top of that, because, you know, your additions and your subtractions and your times tables, to me, they're the basics, and that's what you need to know, really. So I try and keep her on top of them, and that's what we've been doing. I printed off from Twinkle. They do free sheets of all your times tables, and then they do some mixed sheets as well. So I print them off, and she's working through them. And she'll probably do some on a Mondays, because like it's the Monday blue book, maths blue book, that's nearly finished. Got one more page. Well, next Monday's a bank holiday anyway, so she won't be doing anything next Monday. It'll be the Monday after, and she'll finish that book. So she'll do some more times tables with that then. And then after that, I think what we're going to do is do some business maths. Now, what I mean by business maths is like our business. My husband's a self-employed window cleaner, get me words right. And so I think what we're going to do is try and incorporate some of his bookwork into her maths. So to get her used to how things work, adding up figures and sort of working it out, how you'd work it for when you buy things and when you get money, deductions and additions. And so that's all your basic maths, really. And also then like get her into the idea of how you work it all out for tax purposes and that sort of thing. I can't show her how the taxes are done because I've already done them and submitted them. I always do them straight on the first day of the new tax year, so I can't show her. Well, I can show her how it works, but obviously I can't go through the form with her because I've done it online, submitted it. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I was hoping to keep the blue maths books going a bit until the end of the school year, and then perhaps in September start the business maths. But having said that, might do yet, because a couple of the blue maths books are quite long and they're going to have another year's worth at least. So either I can double them up or I can just use them on alternate days. That might be the better idea, actually. It might be the better idea. A sort of plan as I go now, because when we first started homeschooling, it was just got to do this, got to do that. What's school doing? We've got to do that too, sort of thing. And I've relaxed such a lot since then. So I say make it up as I go, but, you know, as her interests change and how I see that she can work things out and what her capabilities are, I tend to go with them as we go along. So with the maths, like I say, I am going to incorporate what I call business maths. I mean, I don't know what that should be called, but I just call it business maths. So if you ever hear me refer to business maths, you know that's what we're doing. We're doing like bookwork things, as in Dean's business, or any similar business that works on a basis like that. So yeah, I thought that would be quite good for her. And it's good skills because the numbers are so random as well. You know, when you do your times tables, you know all the times tables like it's 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s, and like if you do additions you can mix them up a bit. But with the business maths, your figures could be anything. Your figures could be anything at all, depending on what job is done, who's paid, who hasn't paid, who owes what, and different houses are different prices and everything like that. And things come out the blue, jobs come out the blue, and you add them up. And so all the figures are different. There's big figures, there's smaller figures, there's figures in between. And then you're going out to buy stock and buy things that you need for the business. So your numbers aren't predictable. They can be anything at all. And like if you're buying stock, you've got your pounds and your pence and things like that. And she does need to do more pounds and pence work, really. She's not so brilliant with shop. She's getting the hang of it, but I think a lot of that has been her nerves. Her nerves has held her back quite a bit because she's quite nervous about going to the counter and, you know, paying the person behind the desk, and she's quite nervous of people. She's a shy person. So I think a lot of that has held her back. So I think by doing business maths, she can also go out and help when we need to buy some stock and things for the business. She can sort of be there, and we'll include her in on that. So she's learning and getting an idea of figures and things like that, as well as it will encourage her and sort of make her a bit more confident in, you know, dealing with other people and that. And when she gets a little bit older, I mean, I'm not sure what year it is. I know my eldest grandson is doing it this year, so I think he's in not sure if he's year 9 or year 10, I think, year 10. Tried to think where he is in relation to my granddaughter and Sian. They're in year 8, so he's in year 10, and I think he's doing like work experience. So I was thinking, well, when Sian gets to that year, she can do some work experience and perhaps go out with her dad. And she'll have some idea then of, she might be able to take money off customers or give them change, because she'll have some idea then of how it's all working. So I just think it's good because it's real life. It's getting her out there in real life and doing, you know, hands-on maths, really. Because they say that when you home educate, you've got to teach them to a standard that they need. Well, that's the sort of thing you need, you know, when you're grown up, to equip you with being able to go into shops and being able to do things if you've got a job that involves, you know, money or counting and anything like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be money, I suppose, but, you know, it's real life. That's what she needs when she grows up. And it's your household bills as well. I mean, I might start sort of getting her used to some of them a bit later on and saying, right, you know, we have such and such, this costs such and such, how much do you think, you know, each month goes out, what comes in, and maybe you get her thinking, well, how much more would you need for this if you was to have this, and if you were saving for that, what would you need? Sort of put her on a hands-on maths. But yeah, that's when the blue books finish. Like I say, one's finished, but we've replaced that with some times tables at the moment, because I will keep going over them with her right through, because I think they're quite good. Because she says, oh, I've forgotten them, but sometimes she just comes out with them just like that. So she's not forgotten them, they're just stored in there. You know how you have all sorts of things stored in your head, and suddenly you come out with things and it's like, well, where did that come from? But you've not forgotten it, you do still know it, it's just stored in there, just buried amongst other things. So I think that's the same with her times tables. Then, you know, they'll be in there somewhere, they'll be in there, and at a time when she needs them, they'll just spring out and she'll think, where did that come from? So yeah, so we're doing them. We're going to keep on with times tables. I mean, every year I shall do them a couple of times a year, just go through the times tables. They're basic, they might look like they belong in junior school, you know, but it's important things that we all use. I use it all the time, times tables. I mean, like, say I'm doing Dean's Books Up and we've got a list of customers and all the prices are the same because there's a string of houses all identical and they all have the same thing doing. So I count the houses up and say such and such times by such and such, so, and then just know it. So it's things like that it's handy to know. So it's not junior schoolish, it's not babyish or anything like that, to be learning them right through if you want to. Don't worry about that, learn them all the time. So yeah, we're going to keep on with doing times tables, and like I say, there's 2 blue maths books that have at least got another year in them because they were quite thick books, so we'll be continuing to do them. We finished the 1 blue maths book, and another one's about finished, and another one will probably be finished by July. So it should leave us then probably 2 blue maths books ready for September that will take us for next year, and then we'll incorporate it with times tables every now and again, and also we'll do business maths. So that's what I'm planning to do with that. I've got that one scheduled. Other lessons, I'm thinking about all kinds of lessons, because like I say, a lot of the books are coming to ends. Do I get some GCSE books? Not sure. We've been looking at the Centre of Excellence for some of their courses, because Sian's took an interest in photography as well at the moment. She's I don't know how, just all of a sudden she started taking pictures of her phone of the sunsets and things like that and showing us, and they're really good. And you know, she likes all the detail, and she talks about the pictures to you, and she's got an eye for it. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe a little photography course. The Centre of Excellence do some. They just do a basic one for phones, nothing big or fantastic. It doesn't read that way anyway. It just reads really basic. I don't think they test you on it, I don't know. It's just a small course. I thought, well, maybe that would be good for a starter course, for her, just to get her used to the idea of doing the courses. And also it's something she enjoys doing, because she takes photographs on the phone. I mean, she has got a good camera and she's got a camcorder, but she doesn't use them. She just whips out the phone and takes pictures. And she's got the same phone as I've got. And not the one I'm using now to film now, but I've got another one that I use all the time, and she's got the same as me. And I can't get the colours or anything right. I think it's just me. I think I need the course. I don't know about Sian, but I think I need to go on the course. So yeah, I was thinking about that. I don't know yet. We'll probably put a few courses in next year. I'm trying to think now, see, because we're coming into May, and then we've got one all in May, June and most of July, because of her following the school holidays. Then she'll be off for the summer then, and start again in September. So I'm starting to think, well, these books are finishing, what are we going to do? Because I want, by the time she's ready to start in September, I want all of her lessons planned, if you know what I mean. I want to know what we're doing, got it all planned. Obviously, as we go along, we tweak things. If something's not working, we'll either alter it or remove it. Like I was talking last week about the 2 lessons that we got rid of, music and cooking. Like I said, then they might come back again, you don't know. But it's the same with whatever we plan. If there's something that we really can't take to, we'll remove it, maybe come back to it, or maybe just shelve it altogether. So yeah, I just want to have sort of an idea jotted down where we're going with what we want to do. I wanted to pick more of her own lessons as well for next year as books finish. I don't think she'll want to do science or anything, but then there's lots of interesting little one-off topics you can do that, you know, relate to science and that without even knowing it's science, because it's the boredom and the monotony of going over the same things that you don't like doing. She's been doing science today and she's really not interested in it. So there's other things, like little one-off things. Maybe I'll have a special slot for like little one-off topics of interest. So topics might run for a couple of weeks if she's really interested, or it might be a one-off topic that she won't want to do again. But I might just have a slot for that once a week, topics of interest. So yeah, thinking of all different things. Been thinking quite a bit about it over the Easter holidays, what we want to do with everything. And I want to go with her interests, because it's her interests that'll, you know, take her into adulthood and what sort of things she'll be looking for doing then. I mean, she doesn't intend to finish school until she's 18, so it's plenty of time to be thinking about things and sort of tailing her into interested things that she might be interested in doing. Or she might just take a total different turn at the end of it all. Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, yeah, I want to sort of swing away from the books and go more into what she likes doing, so I can work out what she wants to do and how she would like to do it, how it would be good to do. I would like to do a bit more hands-on, going visiting things, but it's having the time. You can't go all the time and it costs money, although there is quite a few free places to go. And she's been going out over Easter. She went to museums in Derby with my son and daughter-in-law and granddaughter. So she went and saw, remember in, it might have been a while back now, I can't remember when I filmed it, but we went to the church in Repton, I forgot what it's called, St. Wiston's, might have been St. Wiston's. We went to the church, Anglo-Saxon, got the Anglo-Saxon crypt and the history of the Vikings, because it's the ancient capital of Mercia in Repton. We went there and we filmed around there, and I was saying then about artefacts that had been dug up, Viking artefacts, as well as Anglo-Saxon things, and they'd been taken off to Derby Museum. Well, she got to see them in Derby Museum. So I think my son has filmed that. So if any of you ever watch SAR histories or are interested in that, then it will be going on. He hasn't put that one on yet, but he will be putting that one on. So yeah, she got to see them, as well as she saw an Egyptian mummy. I remember seeing that years ago when I went, and I was fascinated by it. But I'm a bit mixed now, because I'm thinking, it's nice, it's great to go and see, but on the other hand, you have to stop and think, well, this was a person, an actual person. Is it right they should be in a case on display to everybody? Should they not be buried properly, you know? So I'm a bit mixed on that. I mean, I'm interested and fascinated by it, but at the same time, I'm thinking, is it right to do that? I don't know. I'm a bit on the fence with that one, you know, because when do you get to see an Egyptian mummy? But yeah, it was quite interesting, and she enjoyed that. So I think next weekend she is going up to Tutbury Castle, and she's going to be seeing a Viking display they've got up there. So yeah, she likes going and seeing things like that. But like I say, I'd like to do some more hands-on things, but does cost. Some things are free, you can look around for some free things, but obviously some things that you want to go and see, entrance fees, you've got to pay. So you couldn't do it all the time, you know, and it's a time as well, because I don't drive, so I can't just jump in the car and say, come on, we're going to do this today, because I don't drive. But Dean's our only driver, and he has to go to work. He's not off all the time, sometimes he is, and when he is, he's busy out doing all the garden jobs that I can't do. In fact, he's home today and he's doing all the front. It's a right mess, it's all overgrown, but we'll be doing the gardening collab this week, so I'll show you that. Well, I won't show you the mess because it's gone now, but it'll be a bit tidier. But I will tell you, he's had to dig up the lavender, all the lavender, because he's killed it. He won't have it that he's killed it, but he cuts it back every year. And I'm always saying, don't go into the wooded bit, keep up with the wooded bit. But he didn't. He just trimmed it right back this time. So I knew he'd gone in the wooded bit. I said then he had. No, I haven't. And he had. And they're all dead. So now he's had to pull them all up. They're all totally dead. So I've got to get some more now from the garden centre, or I think actually I got them from B&Q. They've got a garden centre in the back of their shop. So I'll have a look around. I did have a nose last week through the fencing. I could see as I walked past B&Q through the fencing, but I couldn't see none. So it's obviously not in yet. So I'm going to have to get some more now, because I like my lavender and the bees like it, and butterflies. So I've got to get some more. So yeah. But I'll talk about all that, because we'll do the gardening collab later this week. I'm not sure what day I'll put it up. Might try and aim for tomorrow, Wednesday, or Thursday. It'll be Wednesday or Thursday anyway. And we'll put it up then, and you can see how it's all progressing. And I'll tell you all about that then. But yeah, I just thought we'd have a chat today, really, actually, just to catch up on schooling with Sian and how we were doing as these books are starting to run out. how we're doing with it. I think the science book will go on a bit longer, but to be honest with you, we're half and half with science. Like some of the questions at the end, I mean, they're really good books. If you're into these subjects, the books are brilliant. They are brilliant. I do recommend them. But like at the end of every one, we get review questions and that. She can't follow it all. So I say to her, right, okay, read your questions. If you don't know it, go and look at the answer and see if you can, you know, understand the answer and the question, how they work together, how it is that answer, you know. See if you can work it out like that. Although at the end of the day, because she's not going to keep that subject, I don't think it matters too much. But when she's doing the normal bits, the module bits, she doesn't need any answers or anything because she's got it all written and she can read through it all. But if she comes to the review questions, she gets a bit muddled up with all that. She's fine with all the other, even geography, she's fine doing it. It's just the science. She's just not into science at all. Not in science work like that. I mean, if we were to go somewhere that was showing scientific experiments that were interesting, that she'd probably like that. So yeah. But I don't know what we'll swap them lessons for yet. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I've got all these notebooks. I keep jotting all these notes down, different ideas, and then changing them. But come the summer holidays, when we get near to September, we should have it all planned, and I'll be able to tell you then what we're doing and whatnot and how things pan out. So yeah, I just thought we'd have a little chat today, you know, just to let you know where we're at, what we're doing. And like tomorrow and that, well, say tomorrow because I'm filming this on Monday, but today, Tuesday, she will be doing geography on Tuesday. That's another lesson she's iffy with. Some things she's okay with, other things she's not so keen on. So I think, like I said before, we'll probably stick to doing like country work with the geography. So just do it, but theme it differently for her. And that's the thing really with all lessons. Sometimes there's something in them that they do like, but the rest they don't. So you could try and pull out a certain theme and maybe work along with that a bit, what they're interested in, you know. Wednesday she's got German, and that reminds me, well actually say Wednesday, sometimes we do it Thursday. We've chopped it around a bit now with geology, depends when we do the shopping. Because geology takes so long, if it's a shopping day we avoid geology and we do the German. But anyway, the German book, we'd finished the 2 booklets, the workbook and the study book. Now we've got it combined, so she'll be going through it again, but it's combined, and it's also got audio. So Lisa's off for a couple of days on holiday, so I'm going to see if she'll sort the audio out for me, how we get the audio for her, and hopefully we'll be able to follow along with it. Because she's saying, oh, I can't do this German, I'm not cut out for languages. And I'm saying, well, you don't have to do language, because I've said to her, why don't we do a bit of sign language, learn some sign language, you know, for the deaf, learn it that way. So because you're probably more likely to use something like that than you are your other languages. And she thought about it and it's like, oh, I don't know. So she's keen, she wants to do the German, that's what it is, she does want to do it. So hopefully this new book now will be starting from the beginning, and she'll have the audio with it, because before we were relying on Alexa. I have to whisper that word or she asks me what I want. She starts going off. So yeah, before we did that. So I'm hoping it is a bit better for her. She's learnt quite a lot of things. She thinks she hasn't, but she has. She's learnt quite a lot, and she says a lot of things that she never knew before. So it's like I said, it'll probably gone in and it'll be stored there somewhere, but she'll think it hasn't. So yeah, we got that on Wednesday, and then Wednesday or Thursday, and then the other one will be geology. We're doing geology, genealogy. She doesn't like geology. All these words, genealogy. That's coming on quite good. We're writing in the book at the minute, that book I showed you, and building a tree up like that. We talk about the families and we talk about the times they lived in. This is why it takes so long. we might just start doing some history. Once a history book's finished, which it nearly has, we might switch a history over to time periods of our family and maybe write up about that, what it was like around the places they lived and whatnot. Go a bit more in depth. I don't know yet, we'll see. Yeah, so we're doing that. I've got a bit of chopping and changing to do on my family tree. I've got to go and sort a bit more out about it. One of my lines looks very interesting, but I'm not quite sure how it all works out. So, and I think I might see if I can get some outside. I threatened to get a genealogist in to try and sort it out for me. Because when you get past a certain date, you've got to rely on parish records, and then even they get sketchier further back you get. You can dry up to next to nothing. Or nothing. So it's getting a bit stuck in some parts. So I've got to do a bit more of that, but I'll talk about that a bit more another time. I want to look into it a bit more first to have at least an inkling of what I'm talking about. And then Fridays we do history, which she loves history. So yeah, all them books are coming to an end, apart from we're starting this new German book to go through. That perhaps take us into next year, but she's happy to keep doing the languages anyway. So yeah, that's just a brief review of how we're all going, really, how it's all doing for her. And so that's that. We'll just keep it up as we go along, and like I say, we'll do a new curriculum, whatever you call it, ready for September, and we'll see what's left of the books, and do a new curriculum for her, our own curriculum. So we'll see. So we'll come back to that in September, well, probably August, and let you know what we've got ready for September. So yeah, that's just a review of what's happening and what she's doing. A home review. I was telling you about my son whose girlfriend had gone into hospital because she was losing blood, and they were worried about bringing the baby on early. Well, they decided they were going to try and keep her going as long as they could to get her to the 28 weeks, because at that point she'd got, I think it was 9 days to get to the 28 weeks, and if they could keep her going, keep an eye on it, they were happy for it to get as far as 28 weeks. So they decided then that she could go home if she got a wheelchair and whatnot, because she couldn't walk or anything like that. And they were saying that the placenta was lying across the cervix, so it was under the baby. Anyway, she was home all of 2 days, and she got rushed back in again because it started again. So they went back to scanning her, and this time they were saying the placenta wasn't over the cervix, wasn't underneath the baby. The placenta had moved, and it was to the side. It was okay. There was no worries about it, and they couldn't find any reasons. They did lots of tests, and I could find no reasons why she'd be losing this blood. Absolutely no reason at all. So they've just come to the conclusion that, well, sometimes some women do lose all the way through pregnancies. It's just one of these things that nobody knows why. It just happens, and at the end they still have nice, normal, healthy babies. And the baby is healthy. He's got a good, strong heartbeat, and he had grown. He is actually growing. So there was no worries with him whatsoever. So yeah, so they sent her home again. They kept her in overnight under observation, and she stopped bleeding, and she could go home. So she's been home now for a good few days, and there's no more sign of bleeding, and she's not using the wheelchair now. She's just taking steady walks and whatnot. She's taking the time resting, but she's taking steady walks. And she's finished work. She had to finish work because she's a carer, so that's quite heavy work. So she's finished working for now. And so yeah, at the moment, so far so good. And all they've said that is if it starts again, just do what she did, take herself off into hospital, and they'll put her under observation, check the baby and everything, and check everything's okay. There's nothing dangerous happening with her or the baby. And if they're happy and it stops, they'll let her go home. So I think that's just the pattern it will follow should it bleed again until the baby's born, or if something indicates that it needs to come sooner. But I should think now we're not far off the 28 weeks. A few days ago she'd reached 27, so not far off 28 anyway, which is a safer point to be at. So yeah, but they were saying to me, my son was telling me that there was a baby. On the second time she went in, they were saying to them that a baby had just been born at 24 weeks, and he was thriving quite well. He was a lively little thing, and you know, that everything was looking good for him. So hopefully, whoever's it was and whoever he is, it still is going good for him. So it's amazing what they can do. Modern science is miraculous. I mean, Dean, my husband, he was born early. He was, I think, 3 months early, and that was in the very early 60s. And they didn't have nothing like they got today. And he had to be sent away to an hospital in Birmingham because they didn't have facilities for it. In fact, they christened him at birth before they even moved him to Birmingham. He was christened because they told my mother-in-law that he wouldn't survive, and he did. He ended up the tallest of all of them and the deftest. No. But no, he's you know, he's the tallest. The only thing my mother-in-law said was he was a little bit slower at doing things. Like, he was 18 months when he started walking, because they were saying, oh, he might not walk. But he did. He walks fine now, walks better than me. And yet he's got arthritic knees. So yeah, I mean, back then they hadn't got the things they got today, but you know, it was like I was saying to my son at the time, well, look at your dad. The things they can do are amazing. But anyway, everything's all right, and hopefully stays that way, so all is good. And I think that's all I've got to tell you. Nothing much else has happened. I've had a couple of my grandchildren stay the weekend, so it's been a bit bedlam. We had like another Easter, actually, because a couple of the grandchildren came to stay and they didn't come at Easter. With my daughter Lisa, she organised them an Easter egg hunt, so they did an Easter egg hunt. They had little Easter bags, and then we had like a little buffet tea for them, so it was quite nice. They did that, so that was quite good. So yeah, kept them occupied for a bit. So it's all quiet now. They've all gone home. It's all quiet. So anyway, we'll leave it at that for this week. I will be coming back later this week. Like I said, it's either going to be Wednesday or Thursday, because it's the garden collab that's hosted by Victoria from Home Educating the Mad Lads. So if you want to go along to her channel at some point this week and check when she's put hers up, and there'll be a list underneath as well, as I will put the list under mine too, of others taking part, so you can check out others. If you enjoy gardening and having a look around people's gardens, I'll show you how mine's going, talk about it. It's getting out there when there's a quiet moment though. But anyway, I'll leave it at that, or I'll be rambling all day. So I shall see you now either tomorrow, Wednesday, or Thursday. One of the two, I shall see you. So take care for now. Bye.